You're taking a live look at Jerusalem tonight, where tensions are high after Israel launched a retaliatory strike against Iran.
Now, this is after Iran launched hundreds of missiles and drones targeting Israel this past weekend. Commercial flights started diverting their routes in the last few hours in western Iran without any explanation. So it does appear that airspace is closing, and the Associated Press is reporting that Iran is firing defensive batteries in several provinces. Well, joining us now late this evening is Richard Sindelar, who is a scholar at the Rice University's Baker Institute. Thank you so much for being here. First off, I wanted to ask you, which I asked you when you got here, were you surprised by something like this happening when it comes to retaliation from Israel?
I really wasn't surprised because, as I mentioned, I think a lot of this is driven by Netanyahu's domestic scene. He wants to stay in power. He's desperate to stay in power. Otherwise, he has criminal charges. And their homeland was attacked by Iran, and the Jewish response usually from Israel would be to strike back. So I really wasn't surprised. My only surprise was how quick it came. I thought they might plan a little more and take a week or two to prepare a response.
You know, Israel's allies like the U.S. and the U.K. were asking Netanyahu to be deliberate and limited in that strike. How would you assess the barrage tonight? And does that put the U.S. in any bit of a predicament? Or what is the U.S.'s response after this?
Well, one thing is that as best the news has been so far, the only thing that I can say is kind of confirmed is there may have been missile strikes on an air base in Isfahan. The defensive batteries firing around the provinces in the Middle East, when something happens, when you're under attack, they all go off. They basically get nervous and start firing. Right. There was the shoot down of the airliner by the Iranian defensive missiles several years ago for just that reason. They're all nervous. So we don't really know. The defensive batteries don't tell us really where they're being struck, although an Israeli strike package, as news comes out, probably included multiple locations, and I would not be surprised that it didn't include a nuclear site.
Now, Netanyahu defying Biden, how do you think that the U.S. is going to respond to this?
Biden has said he won't be involved in the attack, but if any aircraft ever get involved, there's recovery of downed pilots, and we're the ones that would probably do that. The other thing that's very interesting is unconfirmed information suggests some of the Israeli attacks might have been on Iranian militia forces in Iraq. Those are the same forces that attack us. And in the Middle East, you know, and the thinking process in the Middle East, they're going to believe that either was us or we put the Israelis up to it. So they're going to strike at our forces in Iraq and Syria, if that's true, if they actually got hit.
I also want to talk about Congress before you go here, because Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, he also came to the podium just last night because they're trying to get an aid package passed here to get some funding to Israel. He said he would rather send bullets, not boys, instead of American boys overseas. Do you think this lights a fire under Congress to get a package passed to get Israel funding?
I would like to defer to the political scientists as opposed to the international scholars. In the shorthand, I think it all has to do with whether Johnson can maintain his speakership. And if Democrats work with him, I think we'll get a package for both Ukraine and Israel. And that's absolutely what needs to happen, is these people need to get the arms to defend themselves.
All right, Richard Sindelar, thank you for being here, and I'm sure we're going to be getting your updates and any expertise from you as this story keeps developing.
Well, thanks for having me.